Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I'm your host, Gordo Gambles, joined today by nobody. What a sad surrounding I'm in right now. We lost so much last week. I had to sell the jerseys. I even had to sell Keyroad. Didn't go for much, but I'm able to produce this video today because of it. No, I'm just kidding. We actually had a really good week DFS-wise. Yes, we did lose a few bets. Ignore the jerseys. Actually, let's make it a bit nicer behind me now. All right, don't worry about those jerseys. We're in the middle of a move, but guess what? That does not stop us from making some money here at UFC Vegas 51. It's a decent slate DFS-wise. I actually really like it. Betting-wise, I tweeted out earlier, discipline. It's a hard one to bet on, but I'm actually really liking the DFS matchups. I am flying solo this week, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into this. Let's break down this card. Let's start things off with the main event. You have Vicente Luque facing Belal Muhammad for a second time. First time they squared off. Vicente Luque has got that first round win. And I see something very similar happening again this week. Now, Vicente Luque is a guy who's never in a boring fight. This man is a violent finisher, a vast skill set, everywhere from insane power on the feet to a decent sub game himself, as he destroyed my Chiesa ticket last time out. But don't you worry, I think he has a decent shot here against Belal Muhammad. The line is pretty close, but I'm actually going to take Vicente Luque to finish Belal Muhammad once again. Now, Belal Muhammad coming off a nice win over Stephen Thompson. He grabbed him the whole time. Pretty boring fight. Not something he's going to be able to do here again against Luque. Luque has got power in his hands, a lot more power than Belal does, and I think that he just has a frame that's a lot harder to take down and a lot harder for Belal to have any success against. Vicente has been at the top of the division for a while, fought the better guys. I just think he's the better all-around fighter. I'm taking a win by knockout here. I think he does so very well. Look at that. Quick and easy. It's my motto. All right, like I said, no Keyroad this week, just me, myself, and I, so let's keep her rolling. Make sure to show some love on the channel, guys. Hit the subscribe button and like button down below. Let's do this. Next play, we have an underdog here in the Monkey King, Jordan Leavitt. Now, we've played Leavitt a lot on this channel, some good, some bad. This time, I think he has a very high ceiling this week, and let me tell you why. He's facing the UFC debut in Trey Ogden, where I do think Ogden has a decent skill set. What he lacks is a lot of defensive grappling. If there's one thing Jordan Leavitt does well, he's a decent grappler. Sometimes he struggles to get it there, but when he does get it there, I think he's able to do very well. He's choked at the last few of his opponents, and Trey Ogden's a guy with 3 submission losses on his record. The reason I say high floor for Leavitt is because I think that's his only path to victory. I don't see him finishing Ogden. Maybe he could lay and prey on him for a while, but I think his best path to victory is a submission. It's going to score very high. So Jordan Leavitt, a good GPP underdog for us this week. I think goes out there and submits him, but if not, he's not going to score very well. So keep that in mind. However, I still like him for some GPP purposes. All right, right below the Monkey King at 7.9K, we have a guy in Kai Borrello who I'm going to be super high owned on, 7.8K. I do not think it should be the underdog in this spot right here. Guy went up contender series twice. Prove people wrong. He's a very talented fighter with a very well-rounded game plan. He has good grappling defense, but what he does best is he's got great straight punches and great leg kicks on the feet. He's going to be a problem for Omar Gadzhiev if it stays there for a while. Omar Gadzhiev, a decent grappler in his own right, but I don't think he's strong enough, and that dominant on the ground to be able to control Kai Borrello for long periods of time. Omar Gadzhiev has also faced low levels of competition. I just think that Kai Borrello is going to be a problem for him here at a dog price tag of 7.8K. He's a super high ceiling to go out there and score very well. All right, let's go and talk about a favorite. This is a weird one to talk about with all these Canadian flags behind me, but I'm taking Pat Sabatini to beat the Canadian TJ Laramie. Pat Sabatini, 9.2K this week on DraftKings. Guy trains out of Renzo Gracie, shout out Liam, is a high-level wrestler and submission grappler. This guy has skills to pay the bills. He's fought some decent levels in the UFC, has passed all his tests so far, wins against Connolly, Emmers, and against Lutz. Whereas TJ Laramie is a decent prospect up here in Canada, he's getting a huge step up. He was subbed by Derek Minner, I will never forget that. TJ Laramie's been finished in the first round 3 times. He's taken on someone here in Sabatini who knows what he has to do and is very good at doing what he has to. He's got a great submission game, and unfortunately that's how I see the fate of TJ Laramie this week. I think I see Sabatini either getting a submission or winning a dominant decision here over TJ Laramie. I think he's a very good pay-up option for us on DraftKings. All right, speaking of Canadians, let's talk about our boy Jesse Ronson this week. Another Canadian, this time at 8K, technically an underdog, right? I'm taking him to win this fight. He is a big, strong guy who went out there, finished Nicholas Dalby last time out as a big underdog, and I think he has the opportunity to exploit a lot of defensive liabilities that Garcia may have. Garcia is a very hittable opponent. I think that Jesse Ronson will be able to go out there and put a lot of strikes onto him. He's a stronger, more physical guy. Garcia's gonna be able to go for takedowns, but I just think that Ronson's too strong down the stretch to be able to keep it upright, put together some strong combinations, and really test that durability of Garcia here. We know that Garcia is a durable guy, so maybe Ronson's able to build up those points and score very well as an underdog price this week. I'm liking him at 8K. All right, moving on. Anytime you have a guy like Chris Barnett in the card, you got to talk about him. Beast Boy coming off that spinning wheel kick victory. He's sitting at a price tag of 7.2K. Big underdog against the debutant in Martin Buday. Where Buday does have a lot of power in first round finishes, there's a lot of question marks on this fight. Both these guys are the best cardio and rely mostly on that first round finish. Of course, my gut tells me, oh, have some fun, play Beast Boy, but I do think Buday's a decent play this week. He's more technical. I do think he has more power and he just has more range. Buday at 9K is a decent play, but if you want to get risky, if you want to have a GPP play in there, I do think that Barnett has more of a chance the line doesn't tail. Oh my God. Is that my ringtone when my phone's over there? All right, whatever I was saying, Chris Barnett, super fun guy to watch, and I do think he has decent capabilities here, but he's getting a tough matchup. I want to target this fight either sides. However, most of my ownership will be towards the debuting prospect in Buday. Speaking of GPP, I have to talk about Brandon Jenkins down there. The cheapest fight on the slate, 6.8K, but he is a fun guy to watch. He just goes out there and does a bunch of crazy shit. He's a fun guy to watch. He's facing Guy Drakkar Klose, who's a very technical fighter, but who said a lot of really interesting things throughout the week about how his neck's still not fully healed and how he was almost retired from the sport. A lot of things that make me not want to pay up and get him. Of course, 9.4K, I'm not going in the first place because he's mainly a decision fighter, and I don't think that he goes out there and exceeds his price tag. However, if he is not looking that good in the scales, if you can tell that he's not at 100%, Klose was knocked out in his last fight, is saying he's not fully ready for this camp. And if one thing that Brandon Jenkins does well is he's unpredictable. A lot of crazy things, 6.8K, don't go crazy on ownership. But if you're looking to be contrarian and look to get an optimal play, Brandon Jenkins' win equity score is very, very high. So there's a little bit of tidbit for you guys this week. But keeping it rolling, instead of taking Drakkar Klose at 9.4K, my other contrarian play this week up top is I'm taking a little Breno Silva up top, 9.3K. Women's fights don't always score the best, but when you're facing someone in Wu Yanan, it's going to score well. She's going to have the clear advantage here. I honestly think she finishes her anywhere she wants, especially on the ground. Breno Silva is going to be levels and levels above. The submission could come in 10 seconds if she wants it. She is a very, very skilled fighter on the ground, and I think that she can really exceed that 9.3K price tag. Additionally, Breno Silva also has decent power in her hands. She's just a finisher, and I think that she goes out there and she finishes Yanan looking to put on a statement after that loss to Manopio Hill last time out. I think she does very, very well, and goes a bit overlooked, especially with the Sabatinis, the Budays, and the Kloses at that top end of the price range. Last but not least, an underdog I'm liking this week is someone who isn't really out yet. I'm going to be taking some Lusso when he comes out here. I think he's a very, very talented prospect. I bet on him in Contender Series. He got styled on by Jack Della Maddalena, who's looking to be a decent prospect, so maybe not that bad of a loss. But he's facing a guy here in Lazzez, and whereas Lusso is coming on short notice, he does have a very, very well-rounded skill set. He's able to have a lot of power in his hands. We've seen Lazzez finish recently, but he also has a very, very good wrestling game, something that I don't think Lazzez has as much of. Lazzez is a very, very talented kickboxer, but he doesn't have the ability to fare as well on his ground, and Lusso is able to mix in those takedowns. I do think he's able to win a few rounds and even finish him on the ground here. Lusso is going to be a really, really big problem for the division, I think. I think he's got a lot more upside. This debut isn't getting enough hype as it should. I think he goes out there, he beats Lazzez in his first fight, and whatever price tag he has, especially as an underdog, I'm going to have some of him on DraftKings this week. All right, that's going to do it for me here on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. Before I go, let's round out the rest of the card. I think that the Alatang Haley versus Kroom fight's pretty funny. I think Kroom's just a guy who's just so weird, so out of place, but I think he has a decent ground game here, and the defensive abilities of Alatang Haley aren't really that high, so if Kroom's going to win, it's probably by finish. He has a decent ceiling, but not the best floor down there, so I'll be playing a little bit of Kroom, not too much. I also think that William Knight versus Clark fight at 265 is absolutely ridiculous. It's hilarious. I'll be excited to see how they face off. Maybe take some William Knight, you never know, just because we've seen Clark battered a lot recently, but it's a fight I still haven't really stamped my opinion on either side. So make sure to check out the live stream with me this weekend to see what side I took on that one, because it should be a fun fight, could finish, so maybe I'll have some exposure there, but make sure to check out the live stream to see what side I end up on. And finally, I think Baeza's ceiling is super, super high. Just does he want to implement that black belt? Does he want to go out there and have another slugfest? Fial's a guy who showed to be really, really durable the last time out, but overall has been finished before. Baeza has the better skill set. He is the better fighter here. It's just up to him to implement it. But all right, that's gonna do it for us here on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in, showing some love. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe down below. Last week I said we do a giveaway if we get to 200. We are finally there, so I appreciate all the love. I'll be doing a giveaway the next pay-per-view card. But if you guys have more questions about this card, make sure to check me out on Twitter at GamblesGordo. If you guys want to know any MLB plays I'm playing, check me out at PlaysFades as well. A lot of content for you guys. Make sure you're following the Twitters and subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss out. Good luck to you guys in your bets this weekend, and let's make some money, guys. Ding.